Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Whoa, that's blurry, isn't it? Ah, there we go. All right, how are you? Welcome to the BBC Spews Live. We're actually doing the BBC today, and it's the 12th of May. 12th of May, here's to that. Cheers. The atom bombs haven't rained down yet, so I'm loving life today. I haven't had to pat the flames out on the kids' backs, so I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Who's in? Quite a room full already. I'm not doing you all a name check then. 3 figures, not happening. Hello to all the locals though and the mods for doing that job, even though I don't really need moderators, do I? I can throw wankers out of a digital chat room myself. It's not like fighting a large group of swarthy foreign men at the border. That's a much more difficult task. Chokeholds and eye gouging is much more tough than pressing a button and saying, fuck off, communist. Anyway, just watch this story on Calendar. What's Calendar, Kev, right? I have no idea. Is that an app or something? Just watch the story on Calendar. No idea. Well, let's get straight into it rather than do a rant because there's a lot to go through here. I haven't really sat and done any reading this morning. I've been doing admin, fucking about with my printer. There's something I can rant about, right? This proper raged me up. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's dive in on an impromptu tirade. Has anybody fucking bought a printer in the last few years? So I went on Amazon and bought a printer. Again, please, I know this is a political channel, but please spare me. If anyone now wants to go into a rant about Jeff Bezos, fucking spare me. You know how the bootneck is. He's a pragmatist, right? We can all have a pop at Jeff Bezos, the baldy bastard. But as I've told you a lot many times, the bootneck's not a protester, right? Even though he feels strongly about things, he can't be asked going on a protest because he's not a fucking knobhead. I'd rather go to the pub, fucking enjoy my life and whinge a bit. But I use Amazon, right? Bezos is a cunt, but I don't care because it's cheap. Basically, if I want a product, I'll do a bit of research online, read a couple of reviews maybe, decide which is a good cheap one, and then whoever sells it the cheapest, I'll buy it off because bootneck's a pragmatist, right? I don't do any ideological politics when I'm buying shit off the internet. Bezos, I'll buy it off Amazon. If it's £1 cheaper, I'll buy it off Bezos. I'll tell you the only time I've ever made a political statement is when I was in a particularly bad mood and I was in Morrison's in York. And I remember I was just being a twat because the girl on the counter had like frizzy pink hair. And I got some pasta sauce. So I remember this well because it just popped up in my mind. I bought some pasta sauce. It was just basically, it wasn't the cheapest shit one, you know, the way it's like value and it's just got like a white label. But it was a good deal. It might have had a sticker on it or something. And I took it to the front and I put this jar of pasta sauce on the thing. And the woman went, fair trade, that. Good. I went, oh, is it? I went, fuck it, I'll put it back then. She went, what? And I like walked off because it was only like literally about 12 foot where I picked it up from. I was jogged over, grabbed a different one, the cheap one, put it on the counter. She went, what did you put it back for? And I said, listen, the motherfuckers that run this country send all my bastard taxes to fucking Nigerian Spice Girls all day long. So the money that's in your pocket has already been taxed about 9 times. I'm at least going to spend the pennies that I can physically choose where to go on fucking non-fair trade items because, frankly, we give enough bastard money to the third world. Yeah, so I don't want the fucking fair trade one. I said to her, if you sell me a chocolate bar and it's fair trade, I'll pay a penny extra for the non-fair trade one. I'd buy it. So as for fucking printers, ladies and gentlemen, if Osama bin Laden was selling it £1 cheaper, I'm kidding, of course. I mean, yeah, because I was willing to spend a penny extra for the non-fair trade item. But the point is, I don't really give a fuck. I don't really care. That's the problem with having a public face on the internet. People whinge all the time about everything. It's like you can say something as trivial as like, oh, I got a printer today, and then someone will say, where'd you get it from? And you go, eBay, and they go, fucking eBay, PayPal, and you're like, Jesus, you can't do anything. So I was just getting in there before. Yeah, I'm like Richard, honestly. if it's a penny cheaper, I'll buy a chocolate bar made by a fucking Chinese slave chained in the cocoa. I nearly said cocoa mines there. Imagine that, a cocoa mine. That sounds like a homophobic slur, calling someone a cocoa miner. Maybe I've just invented a term there. Fucking cocoa miners. I'll have to tell my dad that one. He'll like it. The cocoa fields. Cocoa fields. Yeah, I've tickled myself there. Cocoa mines. Where was I? Yeah, I don't care. So before you start whinging, yeah, I bought a printer off Amazon. So anyway, I'm doing the whinging round here. We're not leave Bezos out of this. So I went on Amazon, did a bit of research. Apparently, one with a lot of 5 stars. It was a good buy. It was like $74.99 or something, dollars, cheap as fuck. What everyone said. It's not bad at all. If you put high quality print on there, print's really good. It's worth buying. However, there was a couple, in hindsight, I should have fucking paid more attention, that said, be aware, however, it's HP Instant Ink. And if you don't buy the HP Instant Ink ones, they don't work as good. And I was like, well, didn't even really think of that. I just thought, print's good quality and it's fuck all to buy. So I bought this HP printer, got delivered, stuck the fucking cartridges in that came with it, and it worked all right. Soon as them fucking cartridges ran out, it said, I bought some cheap ones off eBay, HP, you know, again, this is what everyone normal does, right? You buy whatever it says on eBay or something that works with that printer, equivalent to HP, whatever, put these fucking cartridges in. So I put these 2 cartridges in. Cheap big, well, see, this is what you think, Kevin. This is what you think. This is what you think in the old days when the fucking world made sense. Got me bastard print cartridges and put them in. Would they fuck work properly? They worked, but it's like, warning, you were using non-HP aligned fucking printing cartridges. And I was like, you bastards. So it wouldn't have it. And while it would print, it genuinely was bad quality. Like I put it on maximum resolution, high quality, all that. It was a little bit blurry. It was a little bit shit. So I was like, you fascist bastards. So then, just out of morbid curiosity, I paid the $3.99 a month to join Instant Ink, and they sent me some ink. And I put the fucking thing in this morning. Just spent half an hour playing with it. Print's perfect. I was like, they do it on purpose, the cunts. It's like Apple. It pisses me off how they've got you over a barrel now. Like, there's no logical reason why those 2 little bits of plastic with a little bit of ink in them, you plug them in your printer. There's no reason my fucking printing should be coming out wonky and blurry. They do it on purpose. Absolute wankers. And that's what Apple does as well. They fucking do my head in. Like, they want to make you use all their shit. I think I've talked about this again. See, this is Sadwings had to go at me. Oh, you use Apple, fucking hell. I mean, can we just buy stuff without getting whinged at? I bought. I've talked about this before. I bought my first iPhone. I boycotted Apple for about like 15 years, and then I got my first iPhone like year before last or whatever it was, because my brother gave me one to use, an old one, and instantly I was taken with it because the fucking thing, unlike everything else, where I've got like cheap Bluetooth headphones and they line up with my smartwatch. So when I go for a run, another brilliant bit of technology I like. I think that's what Sadwings was winning about. Like, fucking hell, what a wanker. He's got a watch that's got headphones on it. It's like, because he's probably about 60 and he's a prepper. Sadwings is there fucking turning the cogs on his generator in the back garden with a shotgun over his shoulder and a fucking sledgehammer. What a wanker, going for a run with his fucking smartwatch. It's like, all right, we're not all 60-year-old fucking preppers. Like, I like to go for a run with music. And when you're old enough to remember, because I'm in my 40s, when I was training to join the corps, I used a fucking cassette, like a proper, because I tried it with a CD player. I'm not that old. You could get a CD player in 1997 or whatever it was, but it jumped whenever I put it in my backpack with a bit of weight and I go for a run and it constantly jumps. So I had to use a cassette. I used a cassette in a backpack with a fucking wire and a set of headphones on. And these things are mint. Like, it's mint going for a run and your tunes are in your ears and you don't have any wires. And then it even monitors your heart rate and tells you how far you went. Like, I like that shit. That's good for practical reasons. Like, it makes you want to run faster. I like to go for a run and then do a 3-miler and get back and you're like, oh, I did 3 miles in like 25 minutes. I'll try and beat that time next time. I like all that shit. So yes, I know it'll anger you, Sadwings, that I don't go running with a small slave boy playing a violin on one shoulder, like, hey, up the mountain. Come on, you little cunt. Like that. That's how he likes to work out. There's an Indian child on a flute sitting on his shoulder as he marches up the hill. Come on, you little cunt. So I like technology. Again, I'm in the middle on everything. I'm not a purist, but I'm not a like techno twat, like these fucking weirdo kids nowadays who are just plugged in 24/7. They're on. My cousin put on Facebook last year. I remember him typing in something like "fucking Ben plays on Minecraft so much the plug was glowing when I came in the house." Because the little twat just sits there for 18 hours a day on his tablet. There's a happy medium. Isn't that what I've been saying for the last 2.5 years, though? Like, I'm the happy medium in everything, mate. I'm happy medium politically. I'm happy medium in, like, having a drink and then having a bit of a party and going to the gym and my diet. I'm just I'm in the middle on everything. I think it's the best way to live. I think the wisdom. I told you guys when I was like 17 and I wanted to be, everyone in Middlesbrough just fights, go out drinking and fighting, and you want to be fucking, you want to be Jackie Ahmad, Bruce Lee. So I got mega into martial arts when I was a teenager. Again, just being a wanker. You're a wanker when you're a teenager, aren't you? And I just wanted to be Tommy fucking 10 bollocks. So they went through this little phase when I was 4 or 5 years, when I was massively into martial arts and boxing, and I read all Bruce Lee's books, The Tao of Kung Fu and all this fucking shit. And I remember there's a lot of wisdom in there, what he wrote about Chinese philosophy and yin and yang. And I think that really is, as I've talked about, I mentioned it with Simon as well yesterday, about being focused and being in a good place mentally. There's a lot of wisdom from the old Chinese, Confucius and the old Chinese philosophers. And most of the things they say about balance, aren't they? And I think it really resonated with me, because it seems to be self-evidently true. Just as night follows day, you have to pay for everything, pleasure and pain, 50-50, yin and yang, whatever you want to call it. But it does seem to be self-evidently true. For example, going on the piss. I remember being a kid and talking to the biology teacher, being like 15, arguing with the biology teacher, who said alcohol's a downer. Yeah, there we go, Kenny. I'll agree with that one. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Said alcohol's a downer. And I remember arguing with me teacher and saying, "Oh, is alcohol a downer when it makes you feel amazing?" And she was like, no, it's definitely a downer. It does this and it has a chemical element which affects your brain and blah, blah, blah. And I remember having it out with the teacher and then got to the age of about 28. And then you realise it's a downer, don't you? Yeah, when you're 20. I remember the teacher said, oh, yeah, when you're your age, it's a fucking upper. There's no downsides. But get to 28, 29 and drink 15 pints of beer and have a 12-hour session. And the next day, you see that it's a downer. And it fucking is. And that's linked to what I'm talking about, right? If you go on the piss for 12 hours, you have a fucking whale of a time. You forget all your troubles. There's nothing more fun, which is why I still do it, even though I'm an old man. And they get me down. They're hard to get over. But there's nothing more fun. It's irrational pleasure. Going on the piss, even at my age, with 10 of my mates, which being from the borough, I've still got a good selection of friends. And when I go back, we all go on the piss, which I'll be doing in 3 weeks' time. Looking forward to it. There's nothing more fun. It's like cradling your firstborn. Fuck it, let's go on the piss for 12 hours. That's the way I roll. There's nothing more pleasurable. But obviously, you have to pay for it, don't you? Because 12 hours of irrational pleasure must be paid for with at least 12 hours of misery. And as you age, because alcohol takes its toll on your body, it's not even 12 and 12 anymore, is it? Now, if I go on the piss for 12 hours of fucking pleasure, I have to pay for it with 36 hours of pain. So it's right, isn't it? As Sid says, yes, it is indeed a fucking depressant, which is why I tell people not to drink too much. Simon knows. Simon stopped boozing. How different do you feel when you stop boozing? I used to go to fucking Iraq and have 6 months off the drink, and it was unbelievable. My friends used to comment on it because I'd go to Iraq and not have a drink for 6 months, and I'd come back with like a six-pack, looking lean and mean, and my face was like smooth and shiny, and I'd like lost 10 years off my skin was glowing and radiant. And then I'd go on the piss for 6 weeks non-stop because I was on leave. And at the end of it, I'd look like fucking Albert Steptoe. I'd be like, pot belly, fucking craggy face, totally fucks you, alcohol. So definitely, boozing is for healthy people, which you guys, long-term, someone please me in the chat. What are Bootneck's 3 rules for boozing? Someone will know. And that's what I've talked about. That's why you need to obey the rules. If you've got the strength of mind and you have any real issues with booze, then don't drink. But if you haven't, by all means, knock yourself out. But on occasion, it's got to be quite rare, especially as you age. Booze is bad. Is bad. And I would advocate anybody who has any form of issues with it to follow the Simon Sideways approach. To fucking knock it on the head. It's expensive and it's fucking bad for you. For me, probably 2 or 3 times a month now, I'll have a good fucking drink. But that's it. I definitely don't. Slip's got one of them, yeah. The 3 rules are: never drink if you've got anything important to do the next day. Never drink if you haven't got enough money to pay for all your drink, i.e. only drink if you're wealthy. And the 3rd one is only drink if you're in a good mood. Never ever use alcohol as a crutch. It's like if you're in a bad mood, if you're depressed, if your fucking mate's died, or you've got a health issue, or if you've got problems in your life, never ever drink. So those 3 rules, my old man taught me them rules, and I fucking live by them. And it's served me well because I've binge drank a lot over the last fucking 30 years. I'm still in a good place. Physically, I'm still in a good place. Mentally, I'm in a great place. I don't have any anxiety or depression or anything like that. You've got to be sensible with drinking. It can very easily. And one of my best mates, well, probably my best mate in the car, Clemmy. I think I might have shared the photo of me and him. He came to my pass out. I've got my blues on. He's got his number 2s on. He was my only mate who I personally invited to my pass out parade in the car. And he died, drank himself to death. Again, one of them great ironies, isn't it? He fucking lived through like 5 tours of Afghanistan, or however many he fucking did in the end. And then when he left, just turned into a massive, massive pisshead. And then a couple of years later, this was when I very first moved to the United States. So he died about 8 years ago. I was lied. I used to call him like not once every couple of months, because we're men, aren't we? But 3 or 4 times a year, maybe. And then I was lied in my pit in Pasadena. We were living at the time near LA. And my fucking phone rang and it was him. And I went, no, then Clemmy. And his mum said, oh, hiya, Matt. It's Margaret. That's his mum. And I said, fucking hell. He must have done something fucking major if you're ringing me. What's the matter? And she was like, he's dead. And I was fucking astounded. Totally caught me by surprise. Like, he seemed, when me and him went on the piss 100 times, and he just seemed the same as me. Like, you drink when you're off and you're on leave, you got nothing to do, and then when you get back to work, you don't. But he got left on rear party once. So I'll tell you how it happened. He got left on rear party when he was at Logs, and the rest of the lads had gone to Norway. And he said he just started drinking every day, and he said that went on for about 5 or 6 weeks. And then he realized that he had a fucking issue with it because he couldn't stop. And he said when he was chemically addicted, and he said when he tried to stop, his hands were shaking and he was fucked. And he said so he was just drinking every day, and it went on for months before the lads came back, took one fucking look at him, and his true boss was like, Clemmy needs to go to fucking rehab. He went to rehab once, came back, was in cracking on for about a year, and then he went on the piss again, and the car lost the rag with him and threw him out and ditched him, which seems a bit harsh as well, right? One chance. I guess that's the military for you. You get one chance and then fuck you. They're not like social workers. And then a couple of years later, he was fucking Browners, and that's that. So yeah, I have a whimsical attitude towards booze. I like it myself because I'm lucky enough to have the mindset and the personality where it doesn't seem to really negatively affect me that much, and I can control it. I don't drink that often. But anybody who has any issues at all, be them mentally, physically, or financially, don't fucking touch the stuff. Is my advice. And if you're lucky, like me, and you can, fucking crack on. But don't do any of the. Just don't break those 3 rules. My old man gave me them, but now the Bootneck's rules. So remember them. Don't drink when you're skinned. Don't drink when you've got important shit to do the next day. And don't drink if you're in a fucking bad mood. Drinking is for happy, rich people who've got no serious issues to attend to the next day. And yeah, there's that. Right, so let's stop talking about getting pissed and talk about the news. There's a lot going on the BBC homepage today, so I can leave it on the homepage and just have a scroll because there's a few things I want to address. First of all, I don't doubt for a minute that Russian soldiers have been killing some Ukrainian civilians, but war's messy. My point would be, again, it's just so shameless, the BBC. We've got evidence, we've all seen it, of the Azov battalion and all these other fucking shady, basically, Ukraine is a shady place. If you don't know that, then ask yourself why Hunter Biden was getting paid $2 million a year for hanging out the back of Ukrainian prostitutes. Ask yourselves that question. Ukraine is a very, very dodgy place. And we know that the corollary is also true. We know that Russian soldiers have killed some civilians, but we know that Ukrainian soldiers have tortured and abused Russians. And I don't doubt civilians as well, if they are, say, minority groups who are massively in favour of Russia being there, which they are in large numbers in the eastern half of the country. Donbass, we know there's a large amount of people there who fucking speak Russian and consider themselves to be Russian. So this whole thing is just farcical, as usual. And it's the point I keep making about one-sided narratives from the mainstream media and specifically from the state-funded media. The BBC constantly going on about this should tell you exactly everything you need to know about that conflict, because Peter Hitchens made a great point while I was watching The Spectator. He said, our fascination with endlessly reporting on this shows that there's ulterior motives going on, because the equivalent would be the Italians constantly, unendingly brainwashing their general public when Britain's at war with the fucking Argentinians over the Falklands Islands. What's it got to do with us? What's it got to do with the BBC? Why is it the number one headline every single day in the fucking BBC? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's ulterior motives. You know it and I know it. And this one-sided reporting, although I will say the BBC being as incompetent as the BBC are, because it's not a meritocracy anymore, and they just hire soy boys and gender studies graduates. They managed to contradict themselves on their own homepage, because you've got that story at the top there. CCTV shows Russian soldiers killing Ukrainian civilians. And there'll be no mention in the story of, oh yeah, and we've also seen it happen on both sides frequently because both sides are full of cunts. You get none of that because you're getting propagandized. But you go down a little bit and you've got, if I see a Russian soldier, I know what I'm going to do. Like sort of bragging about happily shooting Russians. Conscript, some of them. Do they deserve it? If I see a Russian soldier, I know what I'm going to do. Like reveling in the death of an 18-year-old Russian conscript's a good thing. I love how shit the BBC is. It's almost comical. The shit they put up on this website. Look at it. Could you quit your job to become an activist? No. You know, again, Bootneck's law, right? You all know that one. If the fucking BBC asks you a question, the answer is always no, because they're coming up with a flimsy excuse for a story and desperately seeking some way to print it, so they frame it as a question. It's total bollocks. Don't quit your fucking job and become an activist. Thick twat. That should be a headline with a full stop at the end of it. Don't quit your job and become an activist. fucking monk child. But they put, because you quit your job to become an activist to lead the kids in thinking, oh, this will be a good idea. What a load of shit. Don't take economics advice from a fucking organisation that gets bailed out by the taxpayer every year. Don't listen to them. Russians caught on CCTV killing an unarmed grandfather. Yeah, more of the same. Russians are evil. Russians are evil. Russians are evil. Royal Mail wants fleet of 500 drones to carry mail. Well, yep. Postman Plod's going to be out of the fucking job as well. Join the queue, lads. What else have we got? There's loads of shit on here you can talk about. Queen visits, photos of the Queen's visits released to mark a jubilee. Whoa, they'll love that one. Look, notice how they picked the one that's toppers with Sikhs. Although she doesn't look much like the Chinese twin. That's a bit weird, isn't it? So, yeah, there's a lot of shit to talk about here, isn't there? What should we pick? What should we pick? Police brutality? Nah. I'm sick of reading about police brutality the last couple of years. Ever since St. George, the other one, St. George with a tan. Ever since St. George, I'm sick of reading about fucking police brutality. What Marvel got wrong about the God of Thunder? Fucking hell. The most amazing videos from the BBC, really? Talking about fucking fictional entities now. Is that news? Again, because the people that read the BBC have got shit for brains. Is that news now? What Marvel got wrong about the God of Thunder? Well, go on then, millennial twat who works at the BBC. Tell me what's right about him. Tell me how they've got it wrong about a fucking fictional entity. They're going to be like, no, he doesn't have 2 fucking hoops on his belt. He's got 3, you cunts. It's a fictional entity. BBC, do some fucking work. This isn't news. On the homepage as well. 10 weeks of sheer horror. Yeah, of course. Only from one side, because it's propagandizing you. What else have we got? Look at that on the top here. Confronting my family's slave-owning past. So it's homepage. Let's go through the top 5 stories. Yeah, we've got full-blown propaganda, only mentioning one side in a war. We've got woman climbs Everest because wommans are the best ever. Yeah, well, she didn't climb as fast as the fucking bloke. Toxic cutthroat work problem. Probably some woke bollocks, isn't it? It's not going to be toxic cutthroat work problem. The power turns out occasionally and the infrastructure is not good enough. It's going to be mansplaining, sexism, homophobia. One of the fucking 4. Top Gun Maverick's better than the original because they get bribed and paid to say this shit. That's why film reviews have died to death. You know what I keep saying? We do not live in a meritocracy anymore. Film reviews aren't true anymore. In the 80s, if Barry Norman went on telly and went, that's a pile of shite, that, lads, you used to go, yeah, probably is. Probably is a pile of shite, that, isn't it? Not anymore. You can't trust the thing they tell you, these professional reviewers. You've all seen the fucking tomatometer on Rotten Tomatoes where the general public see a woke film and it gets 8%. But the commies fucking see it and go, oh my God, this is absolutely superb. What was Cuties the last time we checked? Should we have a look? I'm curious. Enable abs. Fuck off. Yeah, look at that one. You couldn't make it up, could you? Cuties. There's a good example. 88% on the tomatometer. Certified fresh. 16% from the audience. What are you talking about, you creepy sex pest cunts? That's so obvious, isn't it? So, yeah, Critical Drinker is good. I watch him. We don't live in a meritocracy anymore. Nothing. You can't believe anything. Anything. And this is what I keep talking about. We're in terminal decline. Everything is fucked. I ring my old man, and that's what he's like. You phone him, he's an old bloke, 70 or whatever, and you're like, how are you doing? He's like, everything's fucked. And you go, heh, cynical old cunt. I used to do that like 10 years ago. Ring me, old fella. How's everything going? Everything's fucked. Old blokes. Yeah, you know what they're like. They're so, you old rascal. Now, everything's fucked. Everything is fucked. You can't even get a film review accurate now. let alone the news is just full-blown propaganda, and they just say what they fucking get told to say. You can't even the film reviews are fucked. You know what I'm saying? Although, should that be the other way around? But it's everything. It's everything. Nothing is true. Nowadays, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It doesn't matter whether it's food review. If the food, think how mad this is. Even food, if they review on the fucking foodie fucking art side of the BBC website, if there's a product that is made from crickets, mashed up fucking cockroaches and pubes, or fucking boiled johnnies, or whatever shit they use to make this fake fucking meat, they'll say, "Oh my god, it's beautiful." I've seen them on CNN eating crickets, going, "Oh, it's grainy and it's delicate and it's oh yeah, put down effervescent." Fuck off! It's a crisp butter. It's a cricket butter, you dirty twat. Like everything they say is lies, because we're living in clown world. So it's bad enough that it's the news that's totally fictional. Every aspect of it's propaganda. But just to put the cherry on top of the mound of dog shit, the dried sheep shit on the huge pile of cow shit is even the trivial is fucked. We can't even get a movie review accurate now, or a culinary review, or anything. A car. If BMW released a car and it had the best handling and the best fucking brakes and the safest and the fastest and everything was fucking superb, but it wasn't the most economical, they'll go, "Oh, that's a pile of shite, that car. It's a pile of shite." You can't trust anything or anyone. So this is the fucking world we're living in. You know what I'm talking about? You know it's true. If they're trying to convince everyone to fucking eat crickets and walk on the fucking hands everywhere instead of driving, and if lying shamelessly helps them achieve that, they're more than willing to do it. So it's just everything. Yeah, we can't even. I'm fucking sure, Sped. I'm sure we can't. Everything is fucked. Everything. The news is propaganda. You can't even get a film review. At least if the news was all propaganda, as the BBC's is, but you could at least get something nice to eat as the world goes to shit, or watch some good entertainment as the world goes to shit. At least you could be fucking distracted. But we've so fucked the planet up that even the trivial is fucked. So the news is all outright lies and propaganda, but even the fucking food reviews are fucking wrong. So that's just where we are. So that's bollocks, that's bollocks, that's bollocks, that's bollocks. What have we got left? Confronting my family's slave-owning past. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do that one, and then out of morbid curiosity, we'll do the toxic cutthroat work problem, shall we? And I haven't read these, so we can do it together. Strap yourselves in, boys. It's the BBC. That could be a slogan. Strap yourselves in, boys. It's the BBC. You've got to steel yourself. Confronting my family's slave. Why do you need to confront it? Tell me why, middle class white arsehole. Tell me why you have to confront it. You know, some wisdom, good old David Gemmell's wisdom. All you've got's the now. The past is long gone, the future's unwritten. All you've got's the now, so live it. That's something Druss or Waylander or somebody said. No, not if you're a woke fucking left-wing middle-class arsehole, it's not. Now it's confront your family's slave-owning past and flagellate yourself on the altar of political correctness. Rip your own tits off and throw them out the window. You deserve the pain. Because have you ever had a nipple cripple when you were a kid? Grab a nip and twist it. That was one of the most harsh punishments a school bully could mete out. Yeah, just claw your nipples off. Yeah, you deserve it. You know why? Because your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddad might have been a cunt. I mean, it's ludicrous on the face of it, but it makes perfect sense to the wankers that read the BBC. So, Laura Trevelyan, she's even got a cunt's name. That seems to be an upper crust twat's name, Trevelyan. I remember there was a Captain Trevelyan from Sandhurst when I was on a course at RAF Chicksands, and he was a fucking twat as well. And I don't know why I know this. Trevelyan was also the name of that sneaky bastard 006 who knifed 007 in the back, wasn't it? He was a Trevelyan. So Loza Trevelyan can fucking suck my stump. She's a villain. She's a villain. Nearly 200 years after our ancestors were given a large payout from the British government when slavery was abolished, our correspondent travels to Grenada to find out how this grim legacy continues to reverberate today. Well, I'll stop you there. Right. Just first paragraph, fucking bollocks. Yeah. Those of you that have read a history book, I'll be aware of it. I'm assuming 90% of the people that watch me, there's just a few walkists lurking in the shadows. I'll be aware of the fact that perhaps one of the most moral achievements of the great British people is the abolition of the slave trade, a trade that was practiced by all of humanity for 10,000 years by every society that ever existed. Askia and Songhai, it happened in Africa. They sold their own, they enslaved their own. Persians, Greeks, Egyptians, Romans, Ottomans, everybody. Everybody has always done it. And only one nation decided to invent the fucking prospect of not doing it anymore. And when it says her ancestors were given a large payout from the British government, where do you think that money comes from, Miss Trevelyan, you fucking commie tart? Where does that money come from? The British government doesn't have any money at all. None. Every penny that the government has comes from the great British taxpayer. It's the people carrying the bricks, cleaning the windows, and driving the fucking, well, not buses at the time, driving the hansom cabs through the streets of Victorian Britain via the medium of a horse and cart. They paid for slavery to be abolished because at the time, because slavery had been normal for 10,000 years, you dippy fucking mare, because it had been normal for 10,000 years, you couldn't just say, let's rip up the rule book. Private property doesn't exist anymore and we're taking all of your shit. You couldn't do that, could you? Because that would be against 10,000 fucking years of orthodoxy. So how did people like William Wilberforce and all of those fine Christian academics and scholars get it done? Well, they had long debates about it and they discussed it at length with the British government and with the support of the British people and the British taxpayers that fucking paid for it. They said, what we'll do is we will pay off all the slave owners to essentially buy the freedom of the slaves. And somehow, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you the abridged version, somehow that noble act invented by people like William Wilberforce, they didn't go on holiday and see half-free slaves and go, oh, we'll have that just a little bit better. Pinched that line off Ricky Gervais, I think, when he was talking about inventing twilight. Right. No, it was inventing light. Let there be light. He said, God didn't go on holiday and see a little bit of light and go, fucking hell, that's quite good. We'll have that where I'm from. They invented the fucking prospect, right? They didn't go to like Canada and see fucking slaves who were like, oh, I'll tell you what, you can only be a slave on Monday to Thursday and then you get a nice 3-day weekend. They invented the fucking practice. It wasn't the Japanese or the Ottomans or the Persians or the Iranians or the Greeks or the fucking Romans. It was us, our forebears. And they went, let's pay them all off because it's a moral thing to do. And fuck me, it was something absurd, like about 25% of the GDP of the entire country to do this, to pay it off. And somehow the BBC has managed to turn this into, you're a bad person and you should feel bad. I mean, I feel like, I think I did such a good little monologue there that we should just cut it. Because if I read the rest of this fucking bollocks by this self-flagellating lefty arsehole with lots of photos where everyone's doing Gazette face. Have I told you what Gazette face is? in Middlesbrough, because Middlesbrough is a town that I also hold, like so many things in life, I'm a man of balance. I hold it in love and contempt and hatred in equal parts. And the reason is because it's like being a Scouser, being from Borough. And a large amount of the people who live in Middlesbrough were once Scousers. So, because as I've talked about many times, if I have to pick one city that I hate more than any other in the UK, it's Liverpool. Middlesbrough is close behind it, but because I'm from Middlesbrough, I'm biased. And I also love Middlesbrough because it's where my family and friends are and it's where I grew up. But yes, it's contemptible. Gazette face, lol. Yeah, somebody knows what that is, probably from fucking Middlesbrough. And it's because, like the Scousers, the people in Borough love to play the victim. They love it. They get pissed and live off diets of microchips and fucking Benson and Edges. And then something goes wrong in their life as a result of their own fucking stupidity. And they love to go crying to the Gazette. And because they haven't got any real problems, because they're lucky enough to be in England and get subsidised by taxpayers from fucking down south. Yes, the home counties pay for everything. We know this. Unlike the Scots, right? The people of Middlesbrough love to fucking have headline news. It's never anything bad because it's Middlesbrough, right? We're lucky. We live in England. It's never 40 fucking Bloods and Crips shoot up an orphanage and rape a nun. It's always something like headline news. We are homeless. Dozza and fucking Michelle have been thrown out of their 11-year council house because Dozza got caught doing fucking unpaid work. Got paid undeclared work. He's been on the door for 11 years, but he was secretly carrying scrap for a fucking jippo and he got caught. So now he's fucking getting thrown out of his council house. And on the front of the Gazette, you'll always get the two wankers shamelessly, and they've got their arms crossed and they're doing this face. That's Gazette face. You know what I'm talking about. Local Scousers, you know what I'm talking about. Scotsmen, Glaswegians, there's a bunch of bitter, miserable bastards as well. You know what I'm talking about. Front page of the local paper, trifling fucking issue that is your fault, and it's chav looking pissed off. Gazette face. That's fucking Gazette face. And that's what this story will be full of. Gazette face. Confronting my slave owning past. Look. You middle class war cunt. You should buy me a fucking gazebo. Fuck off. DC, I couldn't give a monkey's fart. That bell's never been rang to call any slaves in your fucking lifetime. So wind your neck in. It's got nothing to do with me and it's got nothing to do with you. All you do is march around in your fucking Hawaiian shirts, loving life, chilling on the beach, and fucking convincing woke white women with the IQ of a pull-along duck that they're in the fucking wrong. They aren't. And this doctrine of original sin that you want to push on us all ain't fucking washing. So John Trevelyan have 1,000 slaves. Yeah, well, and then fucking all the bus drivers, all the window cleaners paid the debt off. And now you want their long-distant descendants to feel guilt. So yeah, fuck them. I'm not reading it. I'm not doing it. Bollocks. There we go. We'll just stop there. We'll stop with this nice picture. Oh, she's doing a good Gazette face as well, isn't she? That's a beauty, that one. Can we zoom in on that Gazette face? No, it won't let me. She's doing a beauty, isn't she? She's like that. Basically, she's like a hot air balloon that's been deflated like 80%. That's what that fucker in the middle looks like. That's the ultimate Gazette face. A deflated balloon with a face drawn on it. You cracker motherfucker. It's like, I don't care. Don't care. As I explained in the initial paragraph, you shouldn't try and, if you don't want us to take credit for the achievements of our ancestors, we won't. Let's just have a clean slate. But if we're not taking credit for the achievements of our ancestors, then we can't take any of the blame, can we? So fucking pick one. Fucking pick one, communist. Because this is what they always do. It's like, you can't feel proud of the Second World War. You didn't do anything in the Second World War. Well, both my granddads did, because I'm working class and northern, and they did all the fucking heavy work. You sneaky middle-class arsehole whose ancestors were probably fucking dodging the draft. in some fucking posh house down south. My granddad Fred and my granddad Brian, both of them went and fought on the fucking front in the Second World War. And my granddad Fred got like shitloads of medals because he crawled through a minefield, fucking dragged a bloke out of a tank. It's like you're not allowed to feel any pride at all in your own grandfather whose knee you sat on. My granddad died when I was like 20. Fucking whose knee I sat on, whose conversations I had. You're not allowed to feel any pride that he personally took shrapnel in the arse because he stabbed a Nazi in the eye, a literal Nazi. Not allowed to feel any pride in that. But if your great-great-great-great-great-granddad owned a slave, and then your great-great-granddad and your great-great-granddad and your great-granddad spent fucking 30 years paying the debt off, we know, like, don't talk about the debt, but definitely talk about the slaves, you cunt. Just think, again, it blows my tiny mind how the left, the woke, the communist fucking degenerates can jam so many square pegs through round holes. Every single thing they say is insane. And this is what I keep saying. People like me, Salty Cracker, we're liberal people. I'm a liberal person, socially liberal centrist. Everything in my life has been a liberal perspective. I've always been pro on fucking gay marriage. I was pro gay marriage in the 90s before it was cool. I have liberal sensibilities, but if these people are fucking insane, so if you're going to make me hold my nose and vote for someone like Donald Trump, I'll do it. But you don't have the right to call me a fascist Nazi because I'm none of those things. I'm a liberal, but I've got a logic fucking bone, and my logic bone quivers when you say mad shit like you can't revel in the granddad that you personally met stabbing Nazis in the Second World War, and you don't deserve any credit for it. But the bloke who's distantly related to you from 237 years ago, you should feel all the guilt and shame that he would, you cunt. It's irrational. Everything they say is irrational. So Laura Trevelyan can suck my fucking stump. How was about that? Laura, fold it up and poke it up your fucking well-reamed dirt box. You shit for brains communist fuckhead. Please, do yourself a favour. Fold it, roll it, and fuck it. Right? Easy. So there's that story done with. Actually, while I'm on, because I was talking to a bloke in the pub last night, I'm going to riff into another couple of these insane contradictions. So I'll just give you a good one there. Here's another couple of insane contradictions, right? Simon mentioned it on History Debunked. The same people who've spent 5 years telling us, oh, there's no such thing as a fucking... Actually, maybe I can segue into this story because I'm sure it's about feminism. It's bound to be, isn't it? The cutthroat work problem. Have a quick look at this. He made the good point that they said, right, if you're a man, you can't have any opinion at all on abortion. The Supreme Court, there's 6 fucking men on that court. 6 men, right? But they've just spent the last, at least, 4 or 5 years, it's been crazy, hasn't it? It's only been crazy about that long. Again, I'm not a reactionary. I'm not a fucking right-wing reactionary. I totally understand. I consider myself to be a liberal to this day. A Thatcherite liberal, I am. Socially liberal, centrist chap. It wasn't this mad 10 years ago. It's a very new thing, this wokeism. I think the commies did all of the brickwork, laid the foundations through like the late 90s and the 10s. And then they were willing to cast aside the veneer of respectability and come right out the closet after like Brexit and Trump. So full-blown woke insanity has only been the last 4 or 5 years. But they've spent the last 4 or 5 years. I am a lefty tosser, sad wings. You know it. Which is why I'm constantly astounded that fucking I've always got Susan grabbing me by the fucking plums. They're insane, these fucking people. And they constantly, glaringly contradict themselves over and over and over and over again. So that even when you have liberal sensibilities, you just cannot bring yourself to support them. And this is why I'm convinced that the Republicans are going to absolutely smash it in the midterms. No, it doesn't matter all the sneaky tactics, possibility that they're cheating. even with all of it, I don't see them not absolutely killing it, because I was talking to a few lasses in the bar last night about politics, and they were saying they were both Democrats, and I was like, are you really going to vote for the Democrats with all the shit that's gone on though? And they were like, probably not, probably not. It makes no sense, because they've gone insane. The last 4 or 5 years, yeah, that's exactly right. About 5 years, they've gone fucking insane. You can't spend 4 or 5 years telling us that you can't define a woman. Nobody knows what a woman is. Keir Starmer doesn't know what a woman is. None of the politicians know what a woman is. Biden doesn't. Harris doesn't. None of them fucking do. But then the second something you agree with or disagree with comes up, like the abortion debate, instantly you know exactly what a woman is. Definitely know. Woman can carry a fucking child to term. Easy. I know that. I definitely know that. That's why Kavanaugh, he's a cunt, and Alito, he's a cunt, and all those male Supreme Court justices, they're definitely men. They're definitely men. But I thought you couldn't tell us. No, definitely men. 100%. 100%. Men. Dirty, sweaty, stinky, cock-wielding fucking philanderers. Penis-wielding oppressors. Men. Definitely. 100%. Definitely. How do you know? Cock. Tie. Pointy collars. Sardines. Clacker. Men. And then give it a fucking week and they're back to, who knows what a fucking woman is? Who knows? I don't. Do you? Leah Thomas, forearms like Popeye, back like fucking Arnold, caving the birds' heads in, Fallon Fox, big black, nearly misgendered Fallon there, big black 6'5" woman with that forearms like fucking Popeye, caving a little midget woman's face in a cage fight. Perfectly reasonable, because who knows what a woman is? Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. It's the science, stupid. It's the science. Someone sent me a video today on WhatsApp, and it was a biologist. He was like, all right, love, what do you have to say about this? And she was like, I'm a scientist. He went, what science do you study? And she went, I'm a biologist. And he was like, all right, so what's a woman then? And she was like, oh, that's complicated. Fucking, is it? Well, it's complicated when you fucking say it is, but it's not complicated when you decide that it isn't. So there's two examples. I've done the insane, the utter madness of saying you can't claim any credit for your granddad, but you've got to take all the shame for your great granddad, and ignore the fact that you also paid for it via your taxes for the last 200 years, ending the slave trade. And the third one, so this is just 3 from the last week that I've been thinking about. The third one is the whole porn debate. Think of that. Have you all been following the case of this politician who got caught looking at porn? It's another one which I haven't heard anybody else talk about this one. So I think this is an original one. The second one I got off Simon. This one I was thinking to myself yesterday. So you've had, for a week, they've been saying porn's disgusting, porn's disgraceful, he's got to resign, how dare he look at porn, it's fucking horrible, which is the exact same position that the puritanical right-wing religious zealot would come out with about porn. So again, it's up is down, left is right, head full of horse shit, IQ of a pork pie, whatever idiom you want to use. They're fucking insane. Tractorgate, yeah, Tractorgate. Tractor, put your fingers at my bum. I like that. That's my best Southwest girl impression. It's fucking lunacy. Absolute lunacy. And they're the ones who've been saying for years, the left, porn's fucking great. I'm quoting them here. I'm not making this shit up. Sex work is real work. You've all heard that one, haven't you? Lefty twats, AOC, commies, the BBC. I can find you 200 stories on the BBC. Oh yeah, sex work is real work. Sex work is empowering. I sucked 50 cocks to get through university. It was amazing. Here's why you should fuck loads of blokes. I did a video last year on the BBC Spews. The amazing benefits of polyamory. Why you should have a threesome. Why you should spend every Saturday night getting spit roasted by 12 sailors behind fucking jesters in Plymouth. Stuff that we know is harmful to children. They promote it constantly. Porn's great. Sex work's brilliant. Being a slag's mint. You should have a fanny like a fucking gaping axe wound in a silverback's fucking spine. All of it. Constantly. You should have a gusset like a fucking yawning hippopotamus, and here's 10 reasons why it's good for you. Porn's good, sex work's good, prostitution's good, kids should be watching old men wank on the back of the fucking bus to school. The lot. The fucking lot. And then the second a Tory politician gets caught looking at a bit of fucking grumble, they go, oh my God, porn, it's the fucking devil. That's the devil. Fucking lunatic. The wizard sleeve, yeah. Jordan, clown's pocket, full of dog shit. This is the planet we're living in. Insanity. So there's 3 good ones. You all know I could do it all day. I might cut that down for a short, because whoever it was who said I should start doing that, by the way, thanks for that. It was a good suggestion. Because this goes on too long. A lot of people, only the die-hard bootcateers, you sensible 278 people, sit through the whole fucking thing. Most people can't be asked. So it's good to, at the end of it, pick a good 5 minutes, cut it down, make it short, sensible. Maybe I can do it. But there's 3 that are fucking astounding to me. Astounding. If you're a liberal, a Democrat, a left-wing person, and you've always been a left-wing person, can you see those 3 events take place? Those 3 glaring contradictions, mutually exclusive positions that hard bang up against each other. It's the unstoppable force and the immovable object. You cannot claim to be a logical, sensible, reasonable person with a fully functioning brain, and on the Monday say nobody knows what a woman is, to on the Tuesday say definitely know what a woman is, easy, and he's not one, and he's not one, and he's not one, so he can't speak, shut the fuck up, I'll tell you. You, my womb, my choice, shut the fuck up. And then on Wednesday, when Leah Thomas is smashing it again, you go, oh yeah, I definitely know what a woman is, and she is fucking one. She is one, 100%. If you think that, you're insane. Your ideology is insane. Your brain's broke. Your fucking brain is broke. Accept the fact and move on. Accept the fact, do what I'm going to do. Hold your nose and go, well, I don't normally do this, and then vote for the fucking conservative option. Not the pretend one, not the rhino, not the communist in a fucking blue tie in England. Somebody that's conservative, because it's the only thing that makes sense, and you know it and I know it, because these people are fucking deranged. 3 good examples, done and dusted, sorted. Right, that's nearly an hour. I didn't get to do this. Fuck it. All right. I'll have a sip of tea. I'll do it. I spoil you twats. I tell you what, I don't know how Simon Sideways and fucking Sargon and all them do this for hours. Maybe it's because I speak faster. I think that's what it is. It's like actually hard work for me to do an hour. Like, it must be because I'm such a gobshite. I reckon the Reverend or Sargon, they probably get through about, what would you do, like 500,000 words in an hour? I must do like 3 or 4. It just seems to fucking kill me. I can't do this for more than an hour. It's hardcore. Anyway, toxic cutthroat culture that drives out workers. Let's see what it is. Can we guess? I haven't read it. Should we guess? I think it's something to do with men being harder working. They're going to be like, well, I like to. I got yoga on a Tuesday, and I pick the kids up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I always go for my maca chai latte on a Monday morning, and I do like to do my holistic fucking feng shui classes twice a week at 10 o'clock, and but I get paid less than the men. Yeah, it'd be something like that, won't it? Bollocks, fucking bollocks. Let's see. Many employees thrive in high-pressure work environments, but ruthless cultures can poison the well, eroding well-being and ultimately driving out workers. Shit workers. Dog shit workers. Yeah. Let me just quickly, I don't have to read the rest of it. I don't have to, but let me just say something about this. From being an NCO in the Corps to being a manager in my civilian capacity, one of the adages that one of my old sergeant majors told me is, you owe too much to your fucking good lads to tolerate the daft cunts. That's the military version. The civilian version is, you owe too much to your good employees to tolerate bad employees. And it is the truest thing ever. When I worked in the last aerospace company in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, one of the employees was a mate of the CEO. And I got on sound with the CEO. He's a fucking good bloke. But his mate was a bit of a fucking dickhead. But because he was like his mate, he never did any work. He was grossly incompetent. There was one time that we were getting audited by the Federal Aviation Authority. Come down. It's fucking important. And I told him, and I emailed him, make sure you're there. He made him like a security officer or something. Basically, he's just his mate. Just wants his mate to be there when he can call on the piss. So and I told him, you need to be there to open this location up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't happen. I turn up at 8, not there. 9, not there. Trying to ring him, no answer. It's like standards are tough, sad wings. That's exactly right. But nothing is worse for your morale when you're an employee than having shit ones. And this is another thing I hate about the walk. I'm socially liberal, but I'm conservative with work because I'm hardworking. And in my life, I hate carrying people. Bootnecks do, because in the car, you're spoiled. The training is so rigorous in the car that the lads are way better. Even lads like me that were a bit shit, right? I don't claim to be being the best bootnecker. There was better men than me. When you're as verbose as I am, you're better at talking than you are at listening. I wasn't the best bootneck. I wasn't the fittest there. I wasn't the most switched on there. I wasn't the best shot. I just always did me best, right? And that's all I want to fucking see. And when you're a bootneck, you get spoiled because 9 out of 10, in fact, more than, I'm telling you what, it sounds like I'm blowing smoke up their ass. But compared to the Navy, full of fucking degenerates, the Army, the Air Force, the Corps was fantastic. If I worked with 100 blokes, 99 of them would be fucking spot on. Because the training was so rigorous and the training bleed was so harsh. Like I said, you join the Corps after you've done 2 selection processes. There's a pre-PRMC where you prove your fitness. There's a PRMC where you go and get beasted for a week, and then you join the Corps. And even then, after 5 or 6 weeks, you've gone down from 70 blokes to about 20. Like, the training bleed is intense. So when you get to a commando unit, all the lads who work with you are good fucking lads. And this engenders in your brain a dislike for people that are shit or lazy because you have to carry them. And when you go somewhere deployed as a bootneck and you don't have people like that, and then one day you go on a training exercise with some fucking sailors or whatever, and you realize that, and again, not all of them, there's loads of good sailors, but it's this percentages. There's even good Scousers, right? There's even good Scotsmen. So you guys know how I am. I'm not a communist. It's just about percentages. 30% of Scousers are all right, as opposed to 50% of, I don't know, some cunt in some Tory heartland. When you go work with the Navy or you go work with the Army, suddenly blokes turn up who are shit. And there's blokes who are good and there's blokes who are shit. And you start going, why do we tolerate these ones that are shit when they just drag everybody down? And it was the same in my civilian life. This guy, the security bloke, was fucking useless. And whenever I used to be sat around the water cooler talking to the rest of employees, you get them all saying like, that guy's a cunt. It gets to the point where you actually feel like you're going to lose your best employees because they're getting so pissed off with the CEOs, mate, taking the piss and not doing any work. So you owe too much to your good employees to tolerate your shit employees. And that is a mantra I 100% agree with. So this fucking bollocks about ruthless cultures can poison the well and end up erode well-being. I fundamentally disagree with the central tenet of that argument. Getting rid of the lazy bastards who everybody else has to carry. Getting rid of the people who do fuck all work while everybody else is grafting. Getting rid of those people is great for your well-being. If you show me an office and there's 30 people in there and I get each of them in for an individual interview and say, what do you think is the biggest problem here? And if you had to point at one employee who's a cunt, who would you name? And if I did that and the same 2 or 3 names kept coming up, so I got those fuckers fired, that office would be a much happier place. Everybody in there would come in and go, oh, I'm so fucking pleased Michael's gone. He was a fucking dickhead. So this is bollocks. It is more of this woke, commie bullshit that's designed on purpose to make you miserable and to make your workplace fail. Because that's the plan. That's the plan. That's why we don't live in a meritocracy anymore. Because it's all part of the plan. They want to make you fucking miserable and they want to make you unemployed. Because if you're miserable and unemployed, then you might go, show me the way, communist overlords. I know it's been tried 10 times before and everybody always dies, but we're doing so badly now. Everything's gone so completely tits up. Let's just try it. Let's just give it a pop and then bullet in the head or the fucking salt mine. She is easy. So this is bollocks. Anyway, when Anthony was called into a meeting room, he expected the worst. Following a market downturn, layoffs at his firm were imminent. The investment banker was aware his job was at risk. Cuts were coming, but no one was sure if their job was on the line. Well, I'm always sure. If anything like that happens, I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm fucking confident I won't be on the list. You know why? Because I'm not a wanker. I'm not a woke cunt. I'm not a shithouse. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not a lazy bastard. I'm never late, and I always arrive on time, dressed correctly. Easy. It's fucking easy. In the company's cutthroat environment, kind of secrecy was par for the course. In Anthony's line of work, firms vied with one another for the highest paying clients. Oh, fucking hell. Firms vying with each other for the highest paying clients. Jesus, what they're doing that for? That doesn't sound very capitalist, does it? Like I said, these people are fucking deranged. Like the CEO from Burger King comes in on a morning and says, we can't release the new burger, lads. Why? Oh, it might hurt KFC's sales. What? They're a competitor. I don't care. We don't want to vie for the highest paid customers. No. We want to live in a fucking egalitarian nightmare. A socialist fucking lunacy that doesn't work and everybody starves to death. Look at that. Every year, the bottom 10% of performers would automatically face the sack. Don't care. Lazy, useless, stupid, incompetent, all fucking four. Don't care. Finally, Anthony's boss delivered the news. Everyone in the meeting room would be staying. Everyone else on the floor would be fired. Desks were clean. People were marched out. I never saw them again. Oh, you notice how they picked the fucking winner to give it that? Bollocks. Anthony doesn't exist. Anthony either doesn't exist or Anthony was one of the twats who got fucking sacked. I'm telling you. So, load of bollocks. Spartan-like behaviour, yeah, good. Stoicism, hard work, I like it. While a degree of healthy competition in a company can be beneficial, they always put cans in when they're talking bollocks, don't they? Can. There's another great one Hitchens said on The Spectator. You can say this can happen, and this can happen, and this can happen. Well, I can equally reply can, cannot, can't, won't. Can's bollocks. They always put can in. It can be beneficial when they're using the mealy-mouthed sneaky tactics. Yeah, but it can't as well. Either. It is beneficial. A degree of healthy competition is fucking beneficial. It makes everybody compete more. If you had the Olympics and they went, fuck it, let's not bother with competition, healthy competition, nah, fuck the gold, bronze, and silver. Let's just give every mong a medal. Every mong gets a medal. Are the 100-meter sprints going to get faster or fucking slower? Usain Bolt would turn up looking like fucking, what's his name? I don't know that many rappers. What was a proper fat one called whose heart exploded when he was about 30? I nearly said Fat Boy Slim, but he's a skinny, balding white bloke. Biggie Smalls or some cunt, yeah. Some morbidly obese rapper. That's what Usain Bolt would look like if we didn't have any competition. So it's bollocks. Yeah, here we go. I knew it. Bollocks. Commie fucking drivel. Done. That'll do. You don't need me to. You don't need me to read it, and you don't want me to read it. And there's the woman doing Gazette face. I'm useless, but they still fired me. Why? Because you're fucking dog shit. You're dog shit. I wouldn't employ you to pick up dog shit, let alone do a risk assessment and run the fucking accounts. Run the Hong Kong accounts. Lenny Henry. Yeah, he wasn't very quick. Especially not when he was carrying his wife. Fuck me. Because she was 25, Clem, that silly fat fuck. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's over an hour. I spoil you twats. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk some shit then. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in, as always. Thank you, everyone who's got me a pint. I'll draw some art. We'll do it tomorrow if I finish it off Friday. We'll see. Fuck me. I work for a living. You've got to be patient. Thanks for coming. See you all very soon. Cheers.